Hey everyone, today I want to do a second part to my hardest moments videos that got a lot of good reviews and a lot of good comments. And I think people, when they're really suffering with OCD and anxiety-based disorders, whether it's PTSD, GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, body dysmorphic disorder, when you're stuck in the cycle, when you're in the very beginning and you really don't know what to do, you don't know what information to follow, because a lot of people seem to not really understand these in social media. You might be working with someone thinking, this just can't be all it is. You know, I get stuff all the way from people saying they got a certificate after 10 sessions of CBT and they went on their way. This is all nonsense, and it really keeps a lot of people stuck. OCD and anxiety recovery is a perspective-driven change, a philosophical depth that changes your life forever and brings you to a place that you didn't even think was possible in the way you see the world, through an unconditional self-life, other acceptance perspective. So I want to talk about some of my hardest moments again. Before I go any further, please subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what some of your hardest moments are. I love engaging. Like I say, I go through every video and kind of answer as many comments as I can. I think it's really important to stay up to date with the people that watch my videos because they give me support. And all of us, it's me, Momin, Jade, Alexander, Marley, Mariana, anyway, Elliot, all the people that are doing videos right now. Rob, of course. If it wasn't for Rob, we wouldn't be here. We're all very thankful to have Rob in our lives. I think a lot of us forget that. I mean, if there was no Rob, there's no Nick, there's no me, there's no all the people I coach. And it's really important to cover that. And if you're interested in, you feel like there's no hope, I promise there's hope. Please email us at info@ocdrecovery.com and we will get back to you in a timely fashion. Again, that is info@ocdrecovery.com and we will get back to you in a timely fashion. One of the hardest moments on my journey to where I am today was my inability to want to sit with confusion that would cause large spikes in my emotional disturbance that would come in the form of depression, chronic anxiety, and panic attacks. I really suffered with panic sensations where it was so heightened I felt like I couldn't even move. I didn't leave my bed. I played video games a lot. These moments, I couldn't even wrap my head around how I was going to get through them on a moment-to-moment basis. I would think, how am I going to be able to bring this with me to work? How am I going to be able to hike? How am I going to be able to spend time with my wife and my friends and go out? Am I going to be able to drink again? Am I going to be able to do anything that would maybe alter my mind? I mean, there's people out there that enjoy smoking weed. And, you know, if you're balanced with it, but then they're like, am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to be able to socially drink? And again, we're not talking about the addictive purposes. We're talking about people that can balance it and stuff like that, which there's people that can, there's people that can't. But am I going to be able to go out and stay out late? You know, New Year's Eve parties. Am I going to be able to get little sleep? Am I going to have a 4-hour night's sleep and have a total relapse? So wearing that confusion was so difficult for me, just like it is for everyone, because we want a clear-cut answer. We want to know what we can do to get better now. We want to know what we can do to make progress on a moment-to-moment basis. Just doesn't look like that. Some of the best progress I've made in my journey is when I learned to let go. And letting go is not the same as usually how most people talk about it on social media. You'll see a person on the bridge with some birds in the background. They'll just say, let go. That's not what letting go means. Letting go means you're ready to experience all the discomfort that it's going to throw at you, all the urges, the sensation, the images, the depersonalization, derealization, the chronic shame and guilt, the groanal responses when you don't want them to when you're at a birthday party. All of those things, wearing those things as best as you can, the morphing, the changing, thinking you're going to be so much better tomorrow, waking up thinking and realizing you feel like shit, getting over one theme and then going into another, and all the fears that kind of go with it. So that's the first thing I wanted to open up with. The second hardest moment was how I almost destroyed my relationship. Now, there is a book that I talk about. It's a supplemental book. I would definitely recommend reading the books that we have on the reading list first. But there is another book called How to Stop Destroying Your Relationships by Albert Ellis. Very similar to the first book on the reading list, which is also very similar to another anger book by Ellis I like called How to Control Your Anger Before It Controls You. And this is a really important book, the relationship one. I took all of my animosity out on my wife. I yelled, I screamed, I punched holes in the wall. I was so terrible with sitting with frustration tolerance that I didn't realize how much distance I was putting between me and my wife. Not just me and my wife. I wouldn't speak to my mom. I cut my mom off for about 4 months, which was really compulsive. I wouldn't speak to my sister. I was angry at my friends for not understanding. Some of my best friends in grad school, how could they understand? They knew me when I didn't have chronic OCD. So to them, it must have been like, what do you mean reach out to Nick? He's fine. So it was a really confusing time for many people in my life, and yelling at them and screaming at them did the opposite. And that was something that really held me back. So that was something I really had to work on, specifically raising my voice. This was one of the hardest things because anger has a lot of myths, such as letting anger out is the best policy, never bottle it up inside you, that's bad. You have to let people know how you're feeling. You have to prove them wrong. And while a balance is key on many of these things, it's certainly not the case. The biggest benefits from decreasing my anger creating beliefs, my self-anger creating beliefs, was wearing the anger sensations when I wanted to speak my mind. That was really, really important. So that is definitely something to talk about. The third hardest moment was the mornings, when I would wake up and think, it's another day. I don't want to be here. I don't want to go to work. I just want to kill myself and end my life. Thankfully, I didn't kill myself, because ending your life does not solve any problems. It leads to no hope. There is no hope when you're dead. And a lot of people say to me in a rebuttal, they say, yeah, but then I have no more suffering. And you're right. And you wouldn't be here to understand the consequences of what your actions do to your family members. But your actions do have consequences. And it's very important to highlight the realities of this. A lot of OCD sufferers think they can do things when they're emotionally suffering, such as yell at people, harm themselves. And because in our minds, we're the only ones that matter, which is totally understandable, it's important to look beyond yourself and look at how those consequences affect other people in your lives. Your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your classmates, etc., your coworkers. And that's really important. So I had to wake up every single day and say, I'm going to feel like shit today, and I'm going to slowly chip away at my beliefs over long periods of time. And that was really, really hard for me because I had a lot of them. So, the reason why these videos are really important to do is a lot of people see the funny side of me, or maybe the educational side or the informative side, but they don't see the side of Nick to where he was crying and screaming and yelling and stomping his feet and leaving the house at 4 o'clock in the morning to get in my car and run away, to have the police called to my house multiple times because I was threatening to kill myself. I mean, I literally told a police officer to his face in my bedroom that if I could grab his gun and shoot myself, I would. I think I even said that I would take the gun and harm them. Like, I was so out of control that was right before I went to the mental hospital. I mean, these are the things that no one wants to talk about. And the reason why no one wants to talk about it is because we have a lot of people out there that are afraid of being judged. Now, I've broken down a lot of my fears surrounding societal rejection. So, if someone was to watch this video and say, oh my gosh, you're so selfish for raising your voice at your wife, that does not affect me whatsoever. This is how everything comes together. Most people, most fears in Western culture, when it comes to harm OCD, POCD, cheating OCD, are driven strongly by societal beliefs and laws and outcasts. And it's understandable why they do, but you can get yourself to a place where you can apply unconditional acceptance while disliking if other people hate you, etc. Not easy. We're not saying it's easy, but we're not saying it's rocket science, but we are saying it's a lot more difficult than just exposures and just thoughts are thoughts. So those are all the things I really wanted to talk about today. I think that the biggest takeaway from this video is we all have difficulties in our lives, and it's really easy to judge other people when you think they're going through something that isn't OCD and anxiety recovery. But a lot of people have things going on in their lives that are just difficult. And it's important to highlight that so you understand I'm not the only person on the planet Earth. Other people have struggles as well. I can apply compassion to myself and can apply compassion to other people. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please comment down below again. And if you want help with coaching, info@ocdrecovery.com. Daisy, we'll show Daisy again. Just almost knocked the camera. Oh, look at her. Look at her. Oh, this is all she wants. This is all she wants me for. She wants scratches. She has a bunch of sunspots right now because she lays in the sun all day outside and puts holes in my backyard. So thank you again, everyone. There is hope. You can get better. You can wear discomfort. And one more last piece of advice is work on not seeing recovery as a deadline. Look at it as a lifelong process, as if you're never going to recover. I know that sounds really morbid, but the perspectives that you hold are the most important things and not necessarily the way you feel. Thank you again, everyone. And as always, have a good day.